We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
Wow, Gennady Golovkin and his team reportedly in talks to possibly fight Ryota Murata New Year's Eve in Japan. We gonna talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, y'all know what to do. Hit the bell icon. I drop daily content. If you like content like this, boxing news, live streams, and all things considering boxing, consider subscribing. Now, Dazn reporter Chris Mannix, he works with Sports Illustrated also, posted this. Reps for Gennady Golovkin, and he tagged him, and Ryota Murata have discussed a title unification fight in Japan per sources. Though talks have focused on December, on New Year's Eve, a huge Japanese boxing day, Murata hopes to return in a stay busy fight in June. Pre-Olympics, Triple G is unclear. Wow. Well. Looks like the old media darling Triple G, you know, he's at a point in his career where a lot of people are just questioning if he should even continue his career. Now, I have to admit, the way Dazn has played this has been rather sad. Here's the situation. Demetrius Andrade was one of the first people signing with Eddie Hearn and Dazn. You know, he needed out of his last situation, and they made that happen. Then after that came Canelo. And then after Canelo went to Dazn, then you had Triple G, who, since HBO got out of the boxing business, became a free agent, and Gennady Golovkin had no guys, right? He became a free agent as well and needed a home. He fielded offers from Top Rank, ESPN, PBC, and ultimately he decided to follow Canelo. Now, this is where things get rather chippy. Dazn had, at the point in time, a ton of top guys at 160 to about 168. A ton of names, to the point, so much to the point where Eddie Hearn, who was, you know, the spearhead and like kind of the first boxing name that was attached to Dazn, at least in America, that we were familiar with, Eddie Hearn was bragging about it. You know, he was saying things like, if Charlo wanted to become a star, then Jamal Charlo needed to sign to Dazn because they had everybody, you know, or so he thought, right? Now, the sad thing is this. If you look at that whole schedule, you know, majority of the fights that fans anticipated haven't really happened, right? The biggest fight, I guess you could say, is Canelo versus Jacobs. That was a fight people wanted to see. It didn't really play out to be kind of, at least for me, what I expected it to be. But they haven't been able to make Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin. And to me, that was a given at a certain point. Like when they first came to America with Dazn, and they were like, bye pay-per-view, even though now Canelo's fights have been on pay-per-view with cable providers and all this stuff. And the most, I guess, rational go-to fight that people thought they were going to make was Canelo Golovkin, and they seemingly weren't able to make it. Now, to top it off, every fight Golovkin has had on Dazn platform, Canelo too, but Canelo not as much as Golovkin. But for Golovkin, every single fight, with the exception of Sergey Derevyanchenko, has been a gross mismatch. Like, you knew before the fight even happened that it was a gross mismatch, right? And that was the Derevyanchenko fight. Subsequently, many people, including myself, believe that Triple G really shouldn't have won that unanimous decision, and Derevyanchenko really won that fight. So you have Triple G, who is now 39 years old. He never rematched Derevyanchenko. Once again, this is a guy that old media hyped up and put #1 pound for pound. HBO built him up. And then when they got out of the game, you know, he went on to this Dazn. And now it's like to the point where Triple G is literally milking the Dazn brand, and it's just a bad look. Canelo, they couldn't convince him when he was tethered and signed to him permanently or whatever. They couldn't convince Canelo to fight him, so that didn't happen. Then Canelo sued Golden Boy, got out of his contract, sued Dazn, and separated. But even though Canelo went back to Dazn, he still has a little bit more freedom. He doesn't have to fight on Dazn. He can, in fact, after Saunders, he can fight Caleb Plant or whatever, right, on PBC. So you have an aging Triple G who his one tough fight on paper proved to be a tough fight in the ring, right? And that was the Derevyanchenko fight. And that's the fight people say they thought he really lost, and he didn't look the same. And he said he had never, I remember him and Abel Sanchez, they would brag about how Triple G had never been hurt in like 400 amateur fights and all of his sparring, all of his pro fights. They said he had never been hurt. Well, that night he definitely was hurt, and they looked it. And you just have a different Triple G. He just looks like the hunger has regressed, and maybe that's to be expected when you have so many amateur fights. It's hard to keep that fire burning, especially when you take a loss to Canelo, a guy you probably really wanted to beat, things like that. And he doesn't look the same with Jonathan Banks, the style clash, as when he was with Abel Sanchez. He's pushing 40 years old, and now we're hearing that he wants to fight in Japan in New Year's Eve. And that's just disappointing. First of all, Ryota Murata lost to Rob Brandt a couple years ago. He was elevated to the super champion. But at the end of the day, who wants to see the fight with Ryota Murata and Triple G? You know, and boxing is becoming a situation where there's so many just different politics that are going on, where belts are being strewn about or created, franchise champions and different things are being created. So it's getting to a point where promoters and the networks and the sanctioning bodies can really just work together and create situational things where anybody can fight whoever they want to fight, you know, rather than the person who's deserving. Triple G, for years, he claimed he could fight from 154 to 175, 168. He has never moved up and fought at the, you know, I'm not talking about like a catch weight with Steve Rolls. I'm talking about campaigned. You know, he's supposed to be this menacing puncher, and old media hyped him up and said he was like the Kazakhstan Thunder and all this stuff. And now they're saying he's too old. So at what point were we going to see Triple G move up? Because he never did it. Like he said he was going to move up for Chavez. The fight didn't happen. Carl Froch didn't happen. Could have fought Andre Ward. Didn't happen. He wanted Andre Ward at a catchweight, you know, and then that ship sailed. Andre Ward said, I'm moving up 75. I'll fight Kovalev. He's supposed to be a killer, you know. And then now you have Triple G, who's, again, pushing 40, and he's trying to fight Ryota Murata. And it's like, so is he going to just stay on ice until December? It's like, how is this a winning deal for DAZN if Triple G is fighting so infrequently? And I understand we're in a pandemic or whatever, but he's fighting infrequently. And then when he does fights, just look at his fights. He fought Camille Sesmeta. Well, let's start from the top. First fight with Triple G in DAZN, he fought Steve Rolls, a guy no one had really heard of, never really fought outside of Canada, never really fought in 12-round fights. And this is the random name that is chosen. And people are like, huh? Right? Then he fights Derevyanchenko. I already mentioned he should have lost that fight. He never gives him a rematch because he doesn't want to, you know, because maybe he felt Derevyanchenko really could beat him. And Charlo ends up fighting Derevyanchenko off of the Triple G performance where he should have won and been a champion. And Charlo dismantles him easy, right? Then Triple G fights a guy with 21 fights and 5 knockouts who we know didn't have power, and he was unheralded. No one even knew who he was. And that was Camille Sesmeta. But let me guess, they said this guy was his mandatory. Once again, politics. So a guy with no power, Triple G doesn't even look great in the Steve Rolls and the Kamil Sezmeta fights. Like Steve Rolls was tagging him, and he couldn't stop Kamil Sezmeta, who has no power and really had nothing for him. He couldn't stop him until a little bit later. He just doesn't look like the same fighter. Won't rematch Derevyanchenko. He won't fight Demetrius Andrade. He won't fight against who else is there? He like move up and fight David Benavidez, or he didn't move up and fight Caleb Smith. At least Canelo moved up and fought Caleb Smith and Kovalev. We're not seeing none of this passion, none of these challenges from Triple G. You know, like I said, again, at least Canelo's moving up. He's at 168 fighting right now. And it's like, at this point, I don't even want to see a Canelo Golovkin fight, because I think the world knows how that would play out. Canelo has experience past 160 now, can't make 160. So he would probably have to fight Triple G at a catch weight or at 168. And Triple G hasn't fought up there, and he hasn't been looking the same. And Canelo, meanwhile, he's looking sharp, like in the Caleb Smith fight. I think he beats Billy Joe Saunders, etc. So it's like, there's no way this deal is positively working out. Even though they gave Triple G a pay cut in his last fight, it's still not good enough. So now they're trying to send him to Japan to fight Ryota Murata. I mean, what does this mean? Like, out of all the champions, why don't you have him fight Charlo? You know? And the funny thing is, Eddie Hearn, after Demetrius Andrade beat Liam Williams, he gets on the DAZN telecast, starts crying about, not literally, but starts complaining and moaning that champions need to fight against Demetrius Andrade, which is true. But he starts targeting in on Charlo and saying Charlo needs to step it up, and who is Charlo fighting? But instead of clout chasing Demetrius Andrade and Charlo, why don't you make Demetrius Andrade versus Triple G? You know, why Ryota Murata? The most respected champions are Demetrius Andrade and Charlo. So why would he fight Ryota Murata in Japan at as his first thing? So it's clear that Triple G is milking the system, milking the game, trying to get big paydays for less work. Again, Ryota Murata, he could be as big as they want in Japan. Like they say, he's a big name. So they're just trying to milk the system. Nobody views him as better than Charlo, I can assure you that. And again, he lost to Rob Brandt, who lost in the World Boxing Super Series a couple years ago. So this is just pathetic from Triple G, and it is very disappointing. It's really just cherry picking right before your eyes. And you know, Eddie Hearn and DAZN have the nerve on their telecast to say that Charlo needs to fight Andrade, but they have had all these guys from Jacobs to Canelo to Caleb Smith, Billy Joe Saunders. But how come Andrade hasn't fought none of them? Triple G, Saunders, they were scheduled to fight and then they never rescheduled it. Andrade has not got Triple G, Canelo, none of them. Triple G is not being pushed to fight none of them. And again, you got people like Paulie Malignaggi and old media, and they said the Eastern European bloc, European fighters and Caucasian white fighters are dominating, took over the sport. That's what Paulie Malignaggi had said, right? But if you really believe that, then why would you stand for Triple G fighting Ryota Murata, who we know is not the best, even if he got elevated to the super champion? You know, how is he the best? Triple G has not applied himself. He got all this hype. He got rated #1. They had him in Chocolatito like a package deal. And look where we're at right now. Now he's just gonna pop out for Steve Rolls types of fights. Take one tough fight with Derevyanchenko, never give him a rematch, let Charlo go on to beat him, and then not fight Charlo, not fight Andrade. He can't make the Canelo fight, and then he's gonna try to pick on the weakest champion and make this a deal in Japan. You know, good luck to that. But it's real, like I said, it's sad, and I'm very disinterested with Triple G's career if he keeps continuing to go into this type of abyss and this pass. It's just like, I don't know what DAZN is expecting, what type of fan base. You know, I just feel like there's no way it could be worth it. What Triple G was reportedly getting, 15, 18 million for his earlier fights, like the Steve Rolls fights, There's no way that is paying off for you. And again, the Ryota Murata, I guess you can get a site fee, but at the end of the day, what does this do for Triple G's legacy? He refuses to fight anyone that people really truly want to see him fight. And a couple years ago, when Mayweather was fighting Conor McGregor, he was saying, oh, it's not a true fight. This is a business fight. So what is Ryota Murata? You know, you're going to say it's a unification. This is a guy who had a secondary belt until they just elevated him. You know what I mean? So let me know what you guys think. It's just very sad from Triple G to see that this is what it's come to. It looks like they don't feel comfortable putting Triple G in there with anybody who's a real threat or a live dog. And he's content just milking the game and going out. Maybe he feels he's earned this. So if he can't get Canelo, I guess he wants to keep cherry picking and fighting, picking around the tough fights. But what part of boxing is that? If you're a champion, then it should be open season and you got to just fight the best. And this is what old media claims that they want from fighters, but then they prop up fighters like Triple G and then they never hold them to any standard. Meanwhile, when Mayweather was, he just beat Pacquiao, he said he was fighting Andre Berto, people lost their mind. Andre Berto is nothing like Camille Sesmeta. You know, you can look at Berto's accomplishments, 2-time champion, etc. He has good wins. Camille Sesmeta has no wins from anybody that you can know. He just happens to be ranked. Once again, politics. Now, make sure you guys click my link in the description to get TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is an awesome browser extension to help you level up your YouTube content. I use it daily. Listen, it takes money to make money. I use it for videos like this. I started off with 0 subscribers and we're over 200,000. So you might want to take a look at TubeBuddy. If it works for me, then it definitely could work for you. Doesn't matter what genre of YouTube videos you put out. It'll help you learn the system and strategize so you can get ranked. Why are you on YouTube if you don't want to make views and make money? Let's go. 2021, it's looking grim for Triple G. Like I said, if guys are going to game the system, I personally would rather them retire. You know, free up those belts, let the hungry fighters like Andrade and Charlo and whoever else, Liam Williams, somebody who has a pulse, who's willing to challenge themselves, can fight for the belts instead of holding it up. You won't rematch Derevyanchenko. You won't fight Andrade. You won't fight Charlo. You know, you won't move up. You know, it doesn't look like Triple G's trying to apply himself and challenge himself with anything hard. And this is the guy who was avoided, he said, and said he couldn't wait for people to want to fight him. Now he has so many options and he's not taking them. So I'm gonna have to say that was a lie. You know, how could you say you're the boogeyman and that's what old media spun it as, and then now you have all these options and all these guys that want to fight you, and you're a champion and you're not looking in any of their directions. You're literally trying to go after the weakest champion after an abysmal stretch on Dazn with the likes of Steve Rolls and guys like Camille Sesmeta. Sad. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We unpacked. Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.